this is a map and game type that they think that they've been playing wrong. So therefore, if they've been trying to reinvent how they need to play this map, is that going to mean they're not going to be as coordinated as they usually would be on this map? And is it an opportunity for Divine Mind to take a map off them in the correct way or the wrong way? You know, a W is a W.
Exactly, and I think the fact that they've been so dominant over their CTF so far, coming into this grand final, this is really where you need to start to tighten those screws and really get into a position where you can make sure that Divine Mind know that you're here to play. And if you can start off your first best of 5 here with a big dub on CTF, that sets you up good for the bracket reset. If they can make this as clean and fast as they possibly can, the Chiefs, then they're setting themselves up for a big Cinderella story. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to see some hype in the chat. The grand final is about to begin. The Chiefs and the Divine Minds going head-to-head in a best of 5.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right in your lead in there, Luke. You know, that we have seen the Chiefs come out super strong on this map before, 5-0. They said a lot of the time when they play Aussie teams, but Justin, you raised the question as well, have they tried to change things and they're not super ready for them yet? They need to come out strong, and this is the absolute map to do it in. They're really jumping at the bit to get in front of this Divine Mind squad, make a statement and let them know that that first series was a fluke. And so we are jumping on board with Berserk, the guy we spoke about before, who has had the most damage in the last series by a considerable amount. So he's just putting shots across the map into the enemy flag, while we see Beaston just run across there and pick up the camo and putting that reversal in on Pips as well cross map. That's a great way to start, Justin, with that camo as well as putting in cross map kills.
Yeah, I always loved that first little exchange across map on Aquarius, and you know, you see all the players run out, but there's always a couple of guys shooting it out on the spawns there, and we do see Pips rotating into the base here, but managing to find one, looking for another one. He has got the thruster now to utilize like a Halo 5, another one, a heat wave as well, sniffing out those players, manages to pick up a kill. Couldn't keep his teammate alive, unfortunately, but it does look like the push is going to be coming through. Grenade, give him a little tap on the bum there, but Pips moving forward anyway. Something to know, no more grenade hit markers. So that player, they threw that grenade there, but it gave him no information. So no player has been chasing down Pips here, and he's just kind of freely moving around the map currently. He's not really experiencing much pressure, Hoots.
Yeah, holding in these tight quarters where that heat wave can be ultra effective. So he's going to move in on Beaston, and Beaston's going to have a bit of trouble as he thrusts in there with, I shouldn't have, that sounded a bit off, but thrusting in there with that heat wave and putting in the damage. And we are going to see a flag starting to run now from Divine Mind. It was Pips was the only one alive at that point. He only had that heat wave to work with as well, but managed to drop him. They'll get the return here. It looks like it just, you do see how effective that heat wave can be at close quarters, although this flag manages to stay alive for Divine Mind. So Berserk's running it. He's going to be very damaged from that grenade he just took before. He'll get dropped. So I think he's going to be able to eat that forward a little bit, but it looks like we might have the Chiefs in a position to get this return, and perhaps Divine Mind say, look guys, this one might be a bit tricky. Maybe time for us to back off.
Potentially, and look at this, Barcode utilizing those electric grenades, the best ability to get arrow denial, but it didn't matter. Dante was waiting for him with the back whack, taking him out and stopping his reign of terror. Now on board with Beaston himself, putting some nice shots onto Barcode. Flag is on the move. He does get called out and gets taken down. Berserk falls as well. Dante picking himself a nice grenade cleanup kill, trying to apply some pressure, but he gets backed off and cleaned up, and Berserk trying to stop this flag from going through. Right there on the podium, Hoots, is it going to be able to go in? Then there's going to be a desperate little rush to get this flag in. And look at that strafe. Wow-wee. He'd had a couple of energy drinks. He was very hot on his feet there, Hoots.
Yeah, the flag does go in for Chiefs, though, so they were really able to scramble and put that in. The question is now, have they overextended, though, and are Divine Mind able to push in and start to look for a counter cap? Barcode, you can see, very smart here, playing defense, knowing that they are sort of on their back heels a little bit. So let's just wait for the team to get back in and get position while we hold this flag off, hold Divine Mind out of our base, slay a few times and push him out. And now you'll see that's exactly what he's doing, and he's 2 really solid kills there, picking up slaves there for the double. Moving in for the triple, and Beaston can't get it. Beaston drops him out, and so we have 2 members now from Divine Mind in the Chiefs base. Only Barcode dropped those, so it's going to be interesting which route they try and take this. Not really too sure where they're spawning from, and it does look like Beaston's going to be met with a wall of Chiefs players, as is Dante here dropped, and so that's a really good solid defense there from Chiefs, and they're going to look for a counter cap now as they start to run.
Yeah, flag is on the move for the Chiefs once again. They do already have one on the board. Divine Mind maybe a little bit not so hot out of the gate after having a rest, and Chiefs, they've just come off the back of that other series. And you know what? Death Rupture fans, looks like they've warmed up the Chiefs very nicely, gave them a nice hard fight. Pip winning that battle there. Flag really close to the podium, straight in there, and it's 2-0 up in favour of Chiefs.
Yeah, really smart there. People might look and say, why wasn't he running directly at the flag? Why was he taking the long way around? Well, he was using the lines of sight there with those pillars on the flag to make sure that he had enough cover to get close enough where he could then maybe, confuse the opponent that was shooting at him a little bit and then run in and put that flag in with the slide. So really smart move there to get that in. We have seen several times you have those last stands on the flag where, you might almost have it in, you get dropped, and then the scramble begins, you lose your setup, and the team capitalizes that and gets a counter cap on you, but very smart there to put that in that way. So 2-0 up for the Chiefs. And yeah, it looks like Divine Mind just haven't really been able to get moving, because one of the problems is you have Barcode, who we're watching now, and Pips both slaying out really hard on 11 and 13 kills respectively, Justin.
Yeah, doing really well for their squad. Barcode using that heat wave. He does fall. There's a big brawl going down on the flag right there. Flex Rain's falling as well. Brady's coming in for the cleanup, thrusting back top mid, and now rotating through after finding himself one player. Gets the call out on Slays, doesn't get the final kill onto there. Beeson sorting him out, putting that player back into the respawn screen, and look at this. Beeson, he gets that kill, and he's instantly getting some map control here, trying to gain as much ground as possible, helping out Berserk. Grenade comes in to try and take out Pips, does manage to connect, and rotating backwards. Barcode coming in, responding to that call out and getting a nice easy cleanup onto that player there, and Slays just hanging around the back of the base waiting for someone to push in, and Barcode using that thrust and staying alive, and Slays went, you know what, I'm not challenging that, I'm going to wait for help, and it has paid off. Flex Rain's going in a little bit too eager and gets 2v1 taken out. Slays versus Pips, and Pips managed to get the trade there. Very good stuff from him.
Yeah, that was unfortunate there. He should have probably just secured that kill by himself without having to be traded, but that's sort of the way it goes. If you can get a shot or two in and then get that melee off you, a lot of the time end up getting that trade. So a lot of aggression there from Berserk, moving in with the thruster. Unfortunately, he's dropped, so this camo is coming up in about 5 seconds. We're going to see, I think it's going to be the Chiefs who are probably going to be in best position to grab this one, as we have 3 down for Divine Mind temporarily, and there we do see, I think it's Flex Rains who's run across and picked that up and put that camo in. So Flex Rains is now going to be able to just run around at will, really, as he tries to move in and secure another potential flag run. But it seems like the heat's been taken out a little bit, Justin, in the last minute or so. It doesn't really seem like the Chiefs have been able to establish any real kind of map dominance and get in a position to start moving in on this flag, because we do see there were 3 down temporarily for them then.
Yeah, and you know what? It might just be Divine Minds are starting to warm up a little bit now after their extended break while they waited for the bracket to play out. Slay's utilising that thrust to stay up top mid and alive. And, there's still 5 minutes to go in the game, and it's 2 flags. It's certainly within their reach to bring this one back. He falls down. Berserk trying to get this clean up here. The grenade going out. Doesn't manage to get the kill. Pips comes in with a backwack to take him out. Now on board with Dante, finding himself 1 second there if he wants it. Help comes in to take out Barcode. That's a couple of picks. Good opportunity for them to push up and get some map control here, Hooters.
Yeah, but it just unfortunately seems like every time they do get those little inroads and get a couple down, they start to push in. It's just they're a little bit too slow to make any meaningful push onto the base. And by the time they do get there, all the respawns are up. You're seeing now Chiefs are back to 4 up. They're starting to spread out again now and put shots in all over. And Divine Mind just aren't really able to get in a position to affect any real dominance on the map quick enough, really. So we are seeing, another 2 down here, but Dante's taking shots. He has to push back. They're just never really able to get him with any kind of force. And that's just been a real problem for them. No real pulls on the flag that have been able to be done with any real inkling that they're going to be able to put in a decent run.
No, and look at this. Dante's doing his best right now. He's on 16 kills, and so +3 at the moment doesn't snag another one. If he got that kill, it could have been a flag run potential, and they are still down 0-2. Berserk picking himself up 1, trying to get away, but he does get called out and cleaned up. Now on board with Praties. That camo is up. That's key to victory for Divine Mind. They cannot let the Chiefs get their hands on that camouflage, because they can come back at this point, Hooters, but the thing is that they can't allow any more caps to go over in the hands of Chief. They've got to make sure that they're utilising those power-ups when they come up.
No, one more cap and it is pretty much over for them. You almost look and say, I guess maybe a cap a minute is the most that you'll be able to pull out, because you're hoping that you can run them pretty flawlessly, and you have to consider at some point you're going to get dropped as well. So at this point, they've got about a minute and a half to start making a move before things get really, really tough on them. But right now they just haven't really had the ability to do that. You just have to look at the slays with Barcode and Pips, 22 and 20. Only Dante's really matching them in that respect. Everyone else is sort of struggling a little bit. And if you're not getting those slays, you're not able to establish any real map control. And so unfortunately for Divine Mind, it looks like we are seeing another flag start to be pulled here by Chiefs. And they're running it the same way every single time, Justin. It's what we saw in Raleigh being favoured on this left-hand side here.
Well, who knows? They might still be in practice mode. They might be practicing a particular route and going, listen, boys, we're going to run it this way until we are absolute monsters at running it this part way on the map. And it does look like it might be translating. Brady's in a little bit of trouble. He's flashing shields. Will he get it in? He tries to slide at the bottom there. He ends up just crouching a little bit awkwardly over the flag podium. Does smack it in, though. So 3-0 in favour of the Chiefs right now. 2 minutes 30 on the clock. I mean, Divine Mind, they've got to do something, and they've got to do something now. Slay's desperately trying to 1v1 Barcode there. He does fall when the help comes in. Dante rotating through now. Tried to very aggressively challenge Barcode there. Does fall. Beeson, shields flash, and he goes down as well. And it does look like Pace have fallen left and right. It's a full-on brawl.
Death everywhere. As soon as we flick over, it's just people dropping left, right, and centre. And we are trying to see a flag run here again from the Chiefs. So they're looking to put in their fourth and potentially even see if they can close it out in the 5 minute, in this last 2 minute mark of the game. But the defense here happening very strong from the Chiefs as they're just holding out, keeping the Divine Mind guys from pushing in. And this flag's going to go in, and we're seeing Pips dropping a little bit of tea there as they put this fourth flag in. I just love the run that we had there, the flag being run up the side, and meanwhile you just had the whole Chiefs squad sitting back at their flag, just not allowing Divine Mind to get any kind of angle on the flag runner there. It was up, just the ushering in of that flag was pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah, and now Pips, I mean, if you're 4-0 up at the moment, you got fresh camo. Does look pretty good if you're a Chiefs fan right now. It does opt to pull the flag with camo, and he has the help there if he wants it. I'm surprised he didn't just hand that over to his teammate. But look at the confidence. I mean, they've got a minute left. All he needs to do is just get the flag away, apply that pressure, and I think the game is won, Hooters.
Yeah, it seems like it. I think, they've come out on a very strong tear here, the Chiefs. They knew that they were probably caught a bit unawares in that first series when they played Divine Mind, and so they're here to make a statement. And look, they've done it really well. It looks like, this is going to be a sweep, potentially even a 5-0 if they can make a run on a final flag here. But, if you're Divine Mind, I think you just brush it off. You know that this was going to be one of their strongest maps going in, as we did hear Pip saying in our post-game interview just before. But, just brush it off. We move on to a Slayer next where, they were able to win that absolute nail-biter. And, geez, we'd love to see another one similar to that Streets game that we had in the previous series.
Yeah, a little bit, and you know what? Divine Minds are a little bit out at the moment. There's only 20 seconds left. Nice little double kill from Pips to run things over, and I think Barcode really wants to get this last flag in. He's like, boys, I don't want to wait the extra 10 seconds. Let's just get this game over and done with. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and Chiefs will take game number 1, 4-0.
Yeah, so very impressive effort there by the Chiefs, and that's exactly what they needed to do. Come out and make a statement, trying to rest some of that momentum that Divine Mind still might have been taking into this series after the last one. And they would have been feeling pretty good about themselves going in, but that's a pretty big reality check for them, Justin, I think, to be 4-0'd like that.
Yeah, and you know what? Don't count them out just yet. They have been waiting on the sidelines, and Chiefs, they said, listen, we weren't ready for them. We didn't take it seriously enough, and Divine Mind put them into their place, and they've just responded, and they've gone in hot and just played as good Halo as they possibly could, and it's translated into a 4-0 victory in this first game. But Divine Mind, they have it in them, Hoots, so we'll just have to see how they respond after this first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Pips and Barcode there putting out the kind of damage that we've come to expect from them now, really. On the other side of it wasn't really too much to write home about, but that's a map that it can be really hard to get that team shot going when you've got constantly on respawn and those delayed respawns when we are playing objectives. So you do find a lot of those one-on-one battles, they just really can struggle to when you're going up against those main slayers like Pips and Barcode. Can be hard to win those individual battles. So when they're able to get on a tear and start running like that, it's pretty impressive, and I'm sure they'll be getting very hyped on their team comms right now heading into that, because Barco doesn't like to lose, and I saw him in the Twitch chat earlier just saying I'm mad now, I'm angry, I want to get out and start playing. So they've come out with something to prove, and by God, they've done it at the very start here.
Yeah, 5 double kills from him, dropping 27 and 10, and then 13 assists to boot. So responding pretty firmly in this first game, and we'll have to see if they can maintain that momentum into the next game. And you know what? This is just the old Chiefs that are coming back, and they're going, hey boys, don't forget, we're the best, we're here to play, and this tournament is ours.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we move on now to game 2. We move to a Slayer. This is a chance for Divine Mind to turn it around a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see as well the fatigue factor that might set in. These guys have been playing for a fair while now. It's getting late for those of you watching internationally. We're getting to about 20 past 11 at night here on the east coast of Australia. The longer you play, the more fatigue you get. And we have seen, some of the other Halo tournaments that have gone late into the night play start talking about the fatigue, and your decision making is not as good as it typically might be. So teams that can control that as much, gamers are used to staying up pretty late and working through those kind of things, but there's no doubt it can have an effect on you. So I think you mentioned before a few Monster energy drinks might be on the list for things to pick up, Justin, if they can get someone to do a run for them down to the 7-Eleven. But yeah, they should be at least ready to go for the next couple, and hopefully we can see Divine Mind maybe bring this back and make this series a little bit more even, because as much as we want to see a reverse sweep, we want to see each series actually be an even contest as well.
Hey, listen, Vegemite sandwich and a glass of milk and you're good to go, boys. Get on it. And watching some of the highlights here, Barcode just doing barcode things, and Brady's. We're going to see this awkward little crouch. There we go. He just pops it in. It was like he was planting a plant into the ground. Getting his tomatoes into the veggie patch there, just planting it in. And Chiefs, pretty convincing win in the first map, but it is a best of 5. Plenty opportunities for Divine Mind to bring it back.
How about that little statement from Pips there as well? The little sort of did the semi kind of ninja and then the back whack, just to let them know that, maybe last series was a bit of a fluke, and grand finals is where we're typically doing our best work. So get ready for a little bit more.
Yeah, Pips is a master at the old body disrespect. So hopefully,
and disrespect to you as well, as we saw earlier in the interview.
And he's on the list. I've got a list, and right now he's at the top in permanent black ink, all caps. Pips. You're
exactly.
On the list.
And before we move into Slayer on Bazaar, it's worth talking about, the Raleigh journey. We might just jump in straight away and we can chat about that a little bit later, but the Raleigh journey that these two teams have had, just briefly, it was quite different, and most of the talk was around the Chiefs squad, but, Divine Mind, they held their own as well over there. So the experience they've brought back from that tournament is probably holding them in really good stead, as we're seeing here, as their ability to make these finals and come there, in an advantageous position, given they sent Chiefs to the losers bracket. We are jumping on board with Pips, the disrespectful guy that we were talking about before. He's blown up around the fruit stacks. Justin and Barcode, as we've also said as well, always picking up that grapple hook, somehow gets there before everyone else every time. And, that's something maybe teams should start to take a look for. But the rockets are in the hands of Dante. He's got 2 kills to start with, using those rockets effectively to pick up the first one. And so, this is a very good start here from Divine Mind, breaking off the shackles a little bit and starting to really bust out here, moving into the barb. 2 kills for Dante, gets a trade on that second one, but that's not a bad start for him.
No, and I loved how he used that grapple. He really got so deep into the bar. Good old drunk, probably his favourite stool in there, setting up for a cocktail. And he did get that kill, but look at that, Barco coming in with a double kill. And he's got that bulldog in hand as well. Scoreline is basically even at this point. But Barco, how does he manage to just run around bottom mid so freely and have no pressure applied to him? He just seems to do whatever the hell he wants and then rocks up to the kills he wants, and he just picks up Berserk easy. Double kill there, and he just goes out and full ego Charles for the triple. He really just wants those multi-kills.
But even with the dynamo grenades there, just chucking them up to that bar area, just getting a few little ticks on players, knowing that when he goes in there, he's weakened them somewhat to tip that fight in his favour. Those dynamo grenades, they have such massive splash damage, and when you can just throw a couple of them up there, I think we're seeing players more and more go out of their way to pick them up as they're becoming more and more crucial in both area denial and just general range of damage. But jumping back on, we do see 3 dead for the Chiefs at that point. So still holding a 2-kill lead here, Divine Mind. They're definitely holding their own. Barcode, you did mention before, Justin, though, his ability to run around like a madman in the bottom of the map and not get hit. And I don't know, for a player like me and maybe yourself as well, it's just frustrating. So whenever we tried that, we're dropped in about 2 seconds from 3 different BRs.
Yeah, absolutely. And now on board with Dante, 11-11 the scoreline. Trying to sniff out Flex Reigns and doesn't go for the cleanup. It's just making sure that he doesn't get called out. Barcode above him whiffs the first melee, does connect on the second, can't get that second kill. Oh, and look at that overshield on Flex Reigns. Does manage to get the kill onto Berserk, utilizing that assault rifle and getting that kill in the bag. And look at this, Chiefs with a fragile 3-kill lead at the moment, Hoots. And no, nothing to write home about, but it is a lead nonetheless. Slay's blocking off that angle with a couple of nades, responding to a call out, throws out a burst, and he's just hanging out a little bit at the moment, Hoots. He's just chilling out in the bar, seeing what's going on and responding to a call out. Nice little perfect there from Slays, and he does drop straight away, unfortunately.
Yeah, Chiefs have taken the lead, but it's sort of the speed at which they did it was kind of blink and you miss it, and they're up by 3 kills after being down by 2 or so for most of the match. So, you know, a real quick chain of kills coming together to get them that lead, and you know, now they're out to 5. So we have rockets in the hands of Dante again, where he's the one who's been holding them for most of the time. Unfortunately, can't connect on that first one, but it's the exact same strat as last time, where he grapples back into the top bar there. Unfortunately, it's another trade though, and that second rocket is just going to be sitting there empty. So someone's going to make a move to try and grab that at some point, and at least he's got the comms to let his team know that that's where they're sitting. But look, it seems like right now we actually are having the Chiefs pull out a little bit of a lead, 8 now. So starting to run away with it again. Divine Mind, we thought were coming, were starting off strong, but they've managed to irk this back a fair bit, the Chiefs, and you know, Divine Mind need to start making a move soon.
They certainly do. Brady's desperately trying to stay alive. He does get taken out though. Now on board with Barcode, and look at this, couple of players put some damage on, you know, Dante. Nice little strafe there to take him out. And now Pip, he's got that PP in his back pocket there, utilizing it to drop down the shields very quickly on the players. And he's being very patient here, Hoots. He's just kind of hanging out, waiting for his opportunity. The game is slowed down considerably. It was very scrappy so far, but it's slowed right down, Hoots.
Yeah, he was waiting for his teammates to start to shift in, and you can see there you do have Pips and Barcode sitting up around that rocket area, so he knew they were heading there to be able to put some shots down on bottom mid. So rather than just charge out and potentially give away a free kill, he was waiting for those team shots to be able to get into a position. But we have seen Divine Mind start to bring this back a little bit now, actually, so just a 4-kill gap. Prades is the one leading the kills for Chiefs. Meanwhile, it's a bit more of an even spread across Divine Mind, although Beaston and Slays probably struggling to get into it a little bit. So Prades definitely carrying Chiefs right now and helping them hold this lead. But you know, I was really liking seeing that coordination there before. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to run and gun. You're better off just sitting still, almost trying to hide while your other teammates get in position.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to be caught out on your own. You really do need help. Best case scenario, you get a trade before you get collapsed on, and that's why it's so important to be coordinated with your team. And here we go. Pips, 2v1 situation. He almost got that first kill, but the bait and switch came in, and he got cleaned up easily. And here we go. Prades and Barcode working together. Barcode getting out of the way, using the cover. That grapple hook coming in, swinging through like Spider-Man, trying to find that player. Easy assist there. You know, Prades and Barcode just working so well together, but here comes Slays, the cleanup crew, to take him out, and Pip's hiding in the naughty corner over there and managing to stay alive, so he's not going to be in timeout for much longer.
No, unfortunately, the early release has come and gone. But yeah, that was fantastic work then by Pips and Barcode. We've seen them, they seem to be the two who stick together a lot of the time when rolling around the map. And just the bait and switch, as you said, Barcode, no shields, so Pips runs in front, and then Barcode, even then when still no shields, feels like he's comfortable enough to push in, knowing that Pips is going to have his back for most of that. So that bait and switch is just one of the most crucial aspects of Halo. The Chiefs are just so perfect at executing that. And we are seeing a bit of a fight here for this rocket control, because rockets are popping relatively soon. In fact, they've just popped up now along with overshield. So right now we're just using, you're seeing Beaston actually almost use it as a bit of a distraction while Barcode made the move for rockets. Beaston let him go and was able to take him down. But unfortunately, there's backup there for the Chiefs, and they're going to grab rockets here and be set up over there. Holding height, drops them down actually to a teammate I'm guessing is below him. I couldn't see, yeah it is. So there's Prades now with the rockets. So he'll just be able to hold around here, lots of cover, and wait for his shields to come back. And then Justin, we can probably expect him to to team up with a teammate and start to push out and use these rockets to pick up a few quick kills. They only need 10 more. Meanwhile, Divine Mind 18. It's starting to get out of their hands a little bit.
Yeah, they've got all the time in the world. When you've got a nice little lead like that and you've got the power weapons, you can just wait for people to come to you. Look at this, bit of an ambitious rocket across the map there by Paredes. The second he does connect on that one, but not sure what he was doing with the last one. Probably responding to a call out or something like that. We don't know what the comms are going. Dante trying to find a kill, manages to grab Flex Reigns, and look at that, the scoreline is really starting to even up. Divine Minds, they're making a run for it. They don't want to lose 2 games in a row, Hoots. They're making a run, and it's only 5 kills the difference now. Oh, hang on, it's already adjusted to 6, but that is only really 1 round of slays, let's be honest, and they're right back into this.
Yeah, just one quick round, but at the same time, you can't really be giving up ones like that for Dante. Berserk's dropped as well, so you'll take a couple of those trades even if you are the Chiefs, just to be able to get closer and closer to that 50, out to a 7 kill gap now. So it's starting to move a little bit away, and I don't know, we're seeing the pace drop out a little bit as we see some of the Divine Minds guys holding around tree. But where's the push going to come from? Because they have to be conscious that we are going to have Overshield popping in about 20 seconds, and if that Overshield gets in the hands of Chiefs, then I think it's pretty safe to be game over. But we might not even see it get to that point, as we now have the Chiefs only 3 kills off the lead, Justin, so Overshield could almost be completely void.
Yeah, that Overshield does get burnt pretty quickly in Halo Infinite, and 48 kills in favor of Chiefs. They only need 2 more. Divine Mind, they need 8. Only 1 more for the Chiefs. It does look like they're going to be able to take this one out. And Paredes, I love that little angle there. He's just hiding. It's like the bat ledge from the Rig on Halo 5. It's just such a sneaky spot. Not sure what he was trying to grapple then. This doing a bit of a Scorpion impression from Mortal Kombat. Get over here. And only 1 more kill to go, but it's taken a bit of a fight. Pips has got that needler out. He wants a disrespect kill for the final one. And Flex Reigns in a bit of trouble here. He does manage to secure that last kill anyway, and 50-45 in favor of the Chiefs.
Yeah, they brought it back a little bit, Divine Mind, there towards the end, but it was, when you only have 1 death to play with, everything has to go completely right, and we just don't normally see that happen, unfortunately. So another strong win there from Chiefs. They're continuing their statement here in the first round here of our grand final. As we said before, this is a best of 5 series, so they go up 2-0 in this series. If they do win this 3rd game, or win 3 games in this series, we then go to a bracket reset and we run another best of 5, given that Divine Mind did win our first matchup between these 2 teams a little earlier in our broadcast. So Chiefs are keen to keep this run going and keep the broadcast going late into the night, which we love because we want to see more games played. It's been a while since we've been able to have a few broadcasts, given that Raleigh was in the middle and we took a bit of a step back. But they've done a great job here of bringing this back, and for Divine Mind now, it probably starts thinking in your head, have we lost a bit of our momentum? What's going on here? I think they need that one game, Justin, that we've seen a few times in the broadcast tonight, where they win a close game and can really start to get fired up and get the comms going.
Yeah, and they brought things back. There was about a 10 kill difference, and they only lost by 5 kills in the end. And given the way that Chiefs was playing through that, I think it was pretty respectable showing from Divine Mind. It's certainly a lot closer than 4-0 in that CTF game. So they have it in them. We keep saying they have it in them to take games off the Chiefs, and they already proved that by sending them down into the elimination bracket. And Divine Minds, they just need to get things going and shut down the Chiefs and respond to their pressure with pressure of their own. And if you're Divine Mind, you got to play your game. Don't play the Chiefs game. You got to try and set the pace of each map to your play style. And they're not out just yet. They've still got the bracket reset, and it's still the best of 5. They're only down 0-2.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we move to the next game. We're heading back to objectives with Recharge Oddball, which is, Recharge is a map that I love watching Barcode play on. Any map where there's a grapple hook, I love watching Barcode play on, but I just love the way he uses it there. Even with the repulsor as well, we saw him a little earlier today doing some pretty impressive things with that repulsor down around blue areas. So we'll get to see some of that as we do move to this next game on Oddball. But, it's a game type where similar to those stronghold games where you're never out of it until the very end. And they're those kind of games where you can really get your team amped up. So this is a prime chance for Divine Mind to be able to use a game type like this to start to turn the tide a bit mentally and say, hey guys, we beat them the first time around. Yeah, we're down 2-0, but get one of those really clutch wins in one of the rounds of Oddball and just see if you can spark something to flip it around. Otherwise, if we do have the Chiefs winning this one, that's a bracket reset and we go to another best of 5 and they're pretty much starting from scratch.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd be looking at Berserk to be that person to amp up his squad. He's a very passionate, hot-blooded kind of guy, and he talks up his teammates. If you've ever been in a listen-in with him, if someone's doing something crazy, he gasses them hard, and that's what they need. They need to get into each other's ears and be like, bro, that was sick, like good play and good stuff, keep up the pressure, nice kill, all that kind of stuff. That kind of positive reinforcement of and that confidence that it gives your teammates. I'm looking to see a little bit more of that from Divine Minds, because that's what you need. You need full confidence when you're playing against players like the Chiefs to take them down.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just had in my head, but we are just getting a bit of a restart going on with our some of our players here. Just had a few little technical issues, but Justin, I got to ask, you probably saw a lot of the video content coming out of Raleigh. Any particular favourites that stood out in terms of the coverage the Australian players were getting? I mean, I might go first, and it has to be for me that footage of Barcode responding to questions about Halo lore, where you had Snipe Down saying if any pro player is able to answer any of these questions, then God help us all. And Barcode's knowledge of the Halo campaign lore just being second to none.
Yeah, and you know what? I was a little bit, it was absolutely awesome that Barcode just went in and bodied the lot of them. It's kind of disappointing as a Halo fan. It's like the pros haven't like played through the campaigns. I mean, that's kind of where my love of Halo started, was playing through the campaigns with my siblings, and then you discover Xbox Live was a thing, and you're holding LAN parties and all that kind of stuff. And but Barcode, it's good to see that he's a student of the entire game. He absorbs the entire package, and maybe that's why he's so creative, because he's just mucking around in campaign and having a lot of fun, and then he goes, I'm going to try this wacky thing that I used to ruffle stomp some brute in the Infinite campaign, and then he tries it out on the Divine Mind boys, and it seems to be panning out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, maybe we can get a few more chats with him later on in the broadcast, potentially, if we do have the Chiefs winning. And we can chat to him about some of his love of campaign. But in the meantime, we are jumping into this game 3 here. It is recharge oddball, starting off with Pips here, and we typically do see a bit of a stalemate here before anyone really looks to establish any kind of oddball control. But this jumps straight down to blue here. It looks like a push for the sword area to try and maintain some control, because we have seen Chiefs do love holding it around there, Justin. They love the coverage and they love the ability to toss it off the map if they get in trouble, because on recharge it is the only place you can properly play ball.
Yeah, it is, and you know what? We are seeing a little bit of the pseudo play balls where they just throw it down bottom mid and kind of bait it out a little bit, but it's still not a full-on play ball. And that back blue turbine area is a really nice hold, and you can just throw the ball out, and then those players that are there pushing you, they're at the complete opposite end of the map to be able to grab the ball when it comes onto spawn. And as he predicted, neither team going in and picking that one up just yet. Berserk, with a nice little double kill there, and his teammate utilizing those 2 kills to try and get some ball time. And it's just chilling on the ground.
Just running it. They're not looking to hold it yet.
They just rotated it out.
It was an attempt at running it off the respawn. I think they were looking maybe to head to blue, actually, the way it's going, but unfortunately just weren't able to get it there. So that ball's just going to sit around and no time picked up yet. It is just so tricky, and it's about that communication with your teammates of when you say, all right, we've got 2 or 3 down now, we can make that push for the ball. Barcode just holding up in the attic there, but it looks like Divine Mind now is going to try and make a play, but the ball is really struggling to make much of a movement right now. Almost anyone that touches it comes into a lot of trouble, and it's just sitting on those gold stairs. No time really racked up by any team, but really great kill there from Barcode, just clipping their head at the top of that top gold there, and he's just going to hang around the generator here with the sword and make a push on Beeston, but Beeston says no thank you, drops him, takes the sword off, and will try and escape at least. And if he can get into that gold with that sword, if the Chiefs still do try and hold it there, then he can cause a fair bit of damage, and he is still alive, so he's got the sword there. You see him just rips through flex range, slice and dice, and now we do have Divine Mind with control of the ball, though Barcode does pick up a nice double, Justin.
Very nice double kill for him, and scoreline just completely even at the moment. They're just feeling each other out, trying to get that set up. Berserk with that shock rifle, not able to connect on anything. Easy kills for Barcode, and he's starting to rotate that ball around, just as you touched on before, back to that blue turbine area. And Prady's with that camo as well. Beasted managing to sniff him out and take him out. He does fall himself, though. Slays with a nice, easy clean up there. Another player on the turbine, desperately trying to stay alive. Flex range goes down and And look at this. Now Divine Minds is set up on the blue turbine area, set up to get some points onto the board.
Yeah, so they're happy to hold it there if they need to. That plasma just wigging out a little bit before being thrown. I don't know what was going on there, but yeah, Divine Mind's saying, look, we're happy to play it anywhere, and you need that versatility in oddball really to be able to say, it might not be our preferred hold, but if it's there, it's better to try and hold here, grab a bit of time rather than try and rotate it through. Ball does reset though after being playballed, and we're going to have Pips right on there looking to grab it and start to make a move at least. He gets dropped straight away, but Barco just pushing in incredibly aggressively, which we'd expect him to do, and you just have to look at that, Justin. 11 kills off the bat already, and we're only a couple of minutes in really, so he's clearly far and away the number one Slayer. But meanwhile, we move over to, if we look at the Divine Mind kill list, Slay's only with the 1, and we did see him in their initial series against Chiefs really putting in a lot of damage and being that main Slayer, so a bit of a role reversal there, and we'd be looking for Slays maybe to pick up the kills a little bit. Yeah,
sometimes that's just what happens. You have other players that pop off in one game and other players that pop off on the next, and Barcode, he's just a monster on his own. He just does what Barcode does and just goes off every single game. And now aboard with Slayers, he's only got 4 kills to his name and no objective time just yet, but we haven't seen either team go on a big objective run just yet. It's always been very scrappy, and as we say, this Slayers putting in some much needed pressure, and that ball scooped up by Berserk. Good opportunity for them to get some ball time. He's in a bit of a vulnerable spot, and look at that, no pressure. He's able to just jump top gold there and get some ball time. Does get the call out that Pips is lurking below. The ball rolls over the edge, unfortunately not able to scoop that back up to get some ball time there. Hoots is just chilling down the bottom of the stairs, and he does get naded out.
Yeah, you got to be careful because that ball can move pretty easily when a few grenades go off around it and can just shoot it out, and you all of a sudden think it should be at your feet, and you're looking, nope, it's sitting down in the bottom middle of the map almost. So nice double there coming out of Pips as he sits in his top gold. But it's look at the time, Justin. We've only got about a minute left, and no team has really managed to carve out a significant lead or any real significant imprint on this 100-point limit that we're trying to hit to win this first round. So this could be one of those rounds where we look at and we find it ends simply because the timer on the map actually runs out. It's all going to be really sort of revolve around whether or not a team can get a solid amount of time in. There's a nice stick to the
nice
stick. But meanwhile, Pips just sits there watching it, holding the ball, just an observer.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, that was a pretty nice stick. I'm just going to keep holding onto this ball. Thank you very much. And that scoreline, that fragile little lead that Divine Mind has just completely dissolved at this point, and the Chiefs have managed to take the lead with only a minute left. I mean, it's anybody's game at this point. It's just kind of like you got to value your life so much at this point. With only 50 seconds left on the clock, if you go around a Slays and give them the opportunity to hold one setup, then that's going to be big trouble for the other team. And look at this Chiefs, they really were patient and just rotated around the map slowly, keeping themselves alive. And now Pips is just chilling out bottom blue turbine, racking up some points. Played that ball pretty early. He wasn't under a lot of pressure there.
Yeah, no, I think they're looking at the fact that they've got a lead, and now is it just a case of there's 30 seconds to go, let's just hold them off. Like it's a bit of a risky gamble because, if you get outslayed at some point and they get a run at picking up that ball, they only need to hold it for 15 seconds and they've got the lead. But right now, I think it's just a case of let's run a muck and let's just run a gun and try and stop them from getting a real good turnaround by Beast. And then, so this is where they really need to start going Divine Mind. They need to get their hands on this ball. There's only 10 seconds left, and if they don't pick it up anytime soon, they're going to really not be able to afford themselves any deaths. And we can just see here, Pips is just hanging around. There's no point for him to touch it. 5 seconds left. It's just a matter of keeping Divine Mind off the ball, and they're not going to be able to get in a position to grab it. So they take that first round. I really like that play, Justin. It's very ballsy just to play ball, like we said, with half a minute to go, but it worked out perfectly for them. They just went full defense mode and kept Divine Mind off the ball.
They did, and you predicted it. That was what they were doing, and the communication have panned out well for them, taking that first round. Now with Praties throwing out every grenade that he can find to put in some pressure, does find himself Beast, and is he going to kill himself here? He does. Unfortunate. Those grenades can hurt you as well, mate. Just a pro tip from an old player like me. And Dante trying to get some ball time, doesn't manage to get the ball away. Slays looking for the angles here, responding to call-outs, checking the stairs. It's so important to check those stairs because every single time someone's going to be lurking on those stairs, and the one time that you don't, they're going to be coming up behind you for the back whack. That ball just poised there, and just as the start of every oddball game, it just kind of sits there at the bottom until enough slays can get by that you can cleanly pick that one up, Hooters.
Yeah, great moves by Beeston here using that slide. His movement is just very COD-esque. COD players obviously love to slide around, and Beeston just has that down pat really well, and it's probably from the point of view of playing COD so often, and with those paddle controllers now just having the jump and the slide and the grapple and everything working to perfection. So loving his movement into this A hold here for Pips, drops him, and then assists on the kill on Fleck double kill. That's a nice kill there. So now he just needs to look at holding this ball, and I think the A setup's probably going to be where it's going to happen for them, given I think he has one player below him and Slay's holding those orange pipes. So he's got a fair bit of protection there, and also has Berserker, who's trying to stop any people coming through this blue area. So they're actually getting a nice little run of time here, Justin. Look, we can see that across the way there, the Chiefs starting to push across top mid, and at this point, really, Berserk's just purely giving comms, right? And he can run in and try and get a few back smacks here.
Yeah, I like that little setup, but you saw the Chiefs, they were patient, and like, if we're going to make a push, we're going to make it together, and Flex Reigns just kind of kept his head down in enemy territory until his teammates could come help him out here. Dante with a repulsor sending him back and getting the cleanup on him, and now Berserk getting some score on the board for his team, and they've just taken the lead, Hoots, and here he goes, nice ego challenge across there. He does throw the ball bottom mid. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not. That camo is up as well. That's going to be a key for victory for them. Slay's putting in some nice shots. He's a little bit vulnerable here, hanging out on the box, but he jumps down. He does get the clean up though. Beasted with that quick double shot, and then dropping that his second weapon there to make a quick switch. Grabs the ball and putting some points onto the board for himself as well. And look at that. Didn't get a lot of pressure put on him. Getting up those stairs is tough, Hooters. Like, you probably know yourself from playing this game online, is as soon as you're on those stairs, you're a bullet magnet.
Yes, and stairs on this map are absolute death. But I'm loving seeing for those who might not be super familiar with it, that quick change where you see Beeston using the mangler and then dropping it instead of just switching to his BR. He drops it, and people do that because it saves you just like a small fraction of a second of pulling out your next weapon, so you can go for that headshot rather than waiting, half a second longer for the animation to complete. So there's just those little things like that competitive players do that make all the difference. And we've seen Beeston do it quite a bit in our broadcast tonight, but I'm liking this fight back from Divine Mind here. Actually, it's they've been able to get a strong amount of time here, and they're having another run at it again as well. So they're bottom mid here, moving it back to A. So it looks like that's where they're preferring to hold it, Justin. They've had some luck with it so far, and why not keep going with a good thing?
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Prady's putting some damage down onto Beast and puts him back into the respawn screen with plenty of shields left to be able to push up and help Flex Reigns here. Mangler now in his back pocket like it's his wallet. Flex Reigns there, double man push going in for the ball, and Prady's grabbing it and opting to rotate it straight away. He's juggling it to move into cover as quickly as possible, and now he can start racking up some points. And Divine Minds have got a little bit of a lead here, and there's still 2 minutes 30 on the board, but when you've got a 40 point or so buffer, you got to be feeling comfortable. Barcode slapping on that camera. He does get burned, so that's going to be out of contention at the moment. Pip's desperately trying to win this fight, and it does look like the help came in and cleaned up that player for him.
Yeah, no assist there registered. I'm not sure why that was. Maybe he's melee didn't register or something like that as well, but we do have Divine Mind has managed to break this setup again of Chiefs and is holding it and rack up a little bit more time in A. So this is a nice lead for them, about 50 seconds almost now, for them to be able to take this. So we have seen Beaston, just look at that scoreboard, 12 kills going off. We're getting a nice third person there of him jumping around, just whacking the ball, which is nice to see, obviously.
You get double points by doing that, Hoots.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. Yeah, fantastic. But I'm loving this as well. He's got the call out that maybe it's time to drop it, so he's starting to run around and look for kills, but his teammate, he's got Slays below him putting in a fair bit of work, and so he can keep holding it. They could almost hit the 100 points here, so a vast difference from what we saw in the previous round.
Yeah, and really there's only time for one more push, and Chiefs, it does look like they're starting to push in, but no, it's going to be too little too late, and that's going to be 100 to 20 odd in favour of Divine Mind. 1-1
nice.
in this oddball game, and we're going to a game 3. Well, round three. Round
Yep.
three.
Absolutely.
So confusing.
Yeah, and so for Divine Mind, it's do or die here. If they want to avoid a reset here of the bracket, they need to win this round. Otherwise, they're going to have to start another best of 5. And I love the nade at the start from Barco, just picking that up. I'm surprised he didn't get the Hail Mary kill. Really, it was had a fair distance to it, but he's got that camo now. And of course, as we expect, as always, that grapple hook and just nicking a nice gun off the rack here, and we'll see what he can do with it. He's invisible and he's pretty nice and open up here, but no one can see him, so he's got freedom to just put down whatever shots he wants.
Yeah, he does. And he did that like that's what he's been practicing, matchmaking. Nice shot on the shock rifle there. Dante's there if he wants a double kill for Barcode, utilizing the power weapons and the power-ups. Now rotating the ball through. Does get cleaned up, unfortunately. And 1 millisecond longer, he would have been able to get the ball around that corner and start racking up some points. But Barcode turning up for his squad as usual, doing Barcode things and just chaos. Flex Reigns desperately trying to stay alive, putting in a lot of pressure, goes in, gets the trade on board with Beast, and he's in the respawn screen as well. And I think that ball just got grappled, Hoots. It just launched across the map.
And it ended up in Barco's hands. You can only assume that's what happened. The repulsor Pips just sent off and doesn't get the kill there, but it at least gets the sorry, he was trying to clean up with the BR, I think, for the style points, but I mean, you'll still take the repulsor kill as well. But Dante now holding the ball up in this top gold area, getting a slight lead here for Divine Mind, but are they going to head back to A? Probably not a wise move, because we can see there that some of the Chiefs squad are over there. So unfortunately for Dante, just running into a fair bit of trouble there, and it looks like maybe Chiefs will say we'll take it to A if you're not going to, and that's where so much of the points were racked up for Divine Mind. So it's funny watching these teams start to copy each other when they see like a big chunk of time come through. It's, well, if it works for them, why can't it work for us?
Yeah, a little bit. And when you're getting this late in the night, sometimes you just fall back on those easy strategies that, well, not easy, just, the bread and butter of going, hey, we just hold the elevator and we milk when we can, or we hold blue turbine and we play the ball when we need to. And sometimes you just can lean back on those fundamental setups, and it does seem to be working pretty well for Divine Minds at the moment, able to bring back that last game and putting points on the board here as well. Flex Reigns with that camo on the mango, he gets a grenade, is like, nope, I'm not taking the mangle, and he's gonna change positions completely. Berserk there, no shield, so easy clean up for Flex Reigns, and he's stalking around trying to find that play, gets it back like it does go across the map, off the map, unfortunately. But Flex Reigns really utilizing all of that camo, not able to create many opportunities, but denying the Chiefs from getting Divine Mind from getting too many points.
Yeah, I like the use of the play ball both times there from Divine Mind, though. Before that, they were up in top A and they realized they were getting pushed, so they just chose to duck out from the A catwalk and drop it down into the bottom middle of the map. And then we also saw that play ball a little bit later on, chucking it off into the water and getting that ball reset. So they're doing that really well, just not letting the Chiefs set up and get some easy time instantly. It's, if you want the ball, you're going to have to fight for it in bottom mid, same as us. But love that kill assist there as well from Dante. I thought it was actually a headshot at the start, but unfortunately didn't register, but picks up another one on Flex Range. So they're in a position to grab this ball now, you'd think, if he wants to make a run for it, but Barcode is the one just sitting there stopping that from happening. So Dante just going to step back a little bit and maybe not make a push just yet. All 4 up for both teams, so let's just wait a little bit of time, but he'll call Pips out running across there, because we do see his team, I think, is starting to move it down the long haul.
They are. Good rotation from them. They're able to get so much time off it too. And look at this. The collapse comes in. Brady's trying to stop that from getting out there. Dante taken down instantly. That ball just sitting there on the ground. Look at all those grenades going out. How is anyone left alive? And of course it's Barcode. Last man standing, picking up the ball and getting some points on the board for his squad. And the shock rifle as well in hand, ready to challenge anyone that would take the ball from his mitts, rotating through the vent here. Maybe back up to the back elevator set up there to hold down and get some more points for his squad.
Yeah. So Barcode, we don't normally see him run objective, but it's it's good to see every now and then. Dante with this camera though, he can do some good stuff here if he can get in and kill Barcode and take him out. But Barcode, it's that crouch that I was talking about earlier, Justin. He's just so good at knowing when to duck, when to use cover, when to duck behind cover, and taking out Dante then, who had the camera. That was going to be a real crucial play there for Dante to be able to break that setup and look to pick up a bit of ball time. But instead, on the flip side, we've got Chiefs and Barcode himself still holding the ball, picking up time one and starting to get away. And we've only got about a minute 45 left on the clock. So Barcode now pushing it completely away from A, and they're just denying Divine Mind any chance to really move in. Nice there from Barcode as well. So he's slaying it. No scope for the double. So if Slays is taken down here, it's 4 dead, and this is a time for Barcode to pick up a little bit more. And then, potentially, do they make the decision to drop ball at some point soon and start to just try and play a bit of area denial?
A little bit, and you could see the decision making that Barcode was making, a little bit of hesitation. He was looking back and forth. It's like, do I hold or do I rotate towards Praties? In the end, opting for the rotation. It does look like that was the better decision, but here comes the Divine Mind roster rotating through to try and make one last final stand before this game goes in favour of the Chiefs. Pips putting shots across map onto Beeson. Grenade goes out, doesn't get the cleanup, and there we go. Barcode with that shock rifle coming across your screen there and taking out that player, and the camo's going to be popping in 10 seconds. I'd wager it might be the last camo of the game. Barcode dropping down the ball, gets a nice little perfect headshot onto Berserk there, checking all the angles, and it does look like the Chiefs might be putting this one in the bag, Hoots.
Yeah, this has been a really big turn of momentum in the last minute or two of this game, and it's really stemmed from Barcode just going on a tear and chucking a repulsor in as well. We just saw before he was dropped, but look, it's looked like we've got the sweep happening, Justin, as we thought might happen. So we move back into another series as we have the Chiefs completely flipping the script on Divine Mind from the first series. We now have them winning 3-0 in this first series of our grand final. We're going to reset the bracket and move Luke to another best of 5, which is what we were kind of talking about we thought would happen. We maybe thought Divine Mind would pinch a game or two in this series, but everything resets now for Divine Mind. Everything resets for the Chiefs. We're back at square one for another best of 5.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for both these teams is the fact that it was relatively fast for the Chiefs to get this 3-0 here to get the bracket reset. So now we go back to original, square one here, Justin. Divine Mind, they really need to try and pull things back up, and if they want to try and get this, this Pro Series victory. But I mean, just looking across this, Barcode was saying to us in the Twitch chat before, he said, Hoots, the fact that he's angry. And now this is angry gaming. 11,000 damage. Slays dropped 10k damage as well. And there's 43 kills here on the board for Barcode. Like, this man has been absolutely fragging out, and he did so much work across that oddball that, I mean, Justin, it's just looking like right now that the Chiefs have kind of bring back to the old form that we were expecting them at the start of the Pro Series.
Yeah, and they, Pips, as we've mentioned before, he gave the Divine Mind the respect that they deserve, but in the end of the day, the Chiefs want to win, so they're going to go in hard, and that's something I talked about before, is that, if they want to be the best and take games off NA teams, they need to be going hard in every single series. They cannot be taking things casually and, we'll probably win this one, boys, play it pretty casually. They need to go hard in every single game and play like they would against the best teams in the world, and it does seem like the Chiefs are starting to respond in that respect.
Yeah, it really does seem like that they've certainly turned one on here in the grand final, and even what we got from that interview from Pips as well, the fact that he said that it was a little bit of a kick up the arse for these Chiefs boys, a little bit of a wake up call for them, because they were like, it needs to get to a point here where we are taking these games seriously and not really kind of dropping the ball against a team like Divine Minds, who have really shown us so far that these guys can tango with the Chiefs relatively easily. And now getting into this grand final, Hoots, this is where it all goes back to square one. And my question is, do Divine Mind have what it requires in the tank now to reset from this bracket reset they just got and try and take this one down in 3 maps?
I mean, how deflating is it as well that Barcode not only put up those kills again, if you're Divine Mind, the Barcode not only put up those amount of kills, but he also topped his team in objective time as well, I just noticed. So, that's just pretty ridiculous. I mean, I saw 11,000 damage, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty incredible. But